Brad and I grew up overseas as missionary kids, and we actually dated in high school and met at a boarding school. One day I was scrolling through Facebook and I noticed that one of the staff members from our former boarding school had posted the staffing needs for Dakar Academy, which is in Dakar, Senegal. And one of the postings that she had put on there was a maintenance coordinator. And so I innocently said, "What does a maintenance coordinator do?" She started messaging me, "Oh, you know what, Brad would be really good at this. You guys should think about this." And she was messaging me back and forth, and eventually she just said, "Why don't you email the director, and here's his email address, and just, indicate that you're interested and see where it goes from there." And I thought, I'll mention it to Brad and he'll say, "Oh, that's nice," and shrug it off. So I mentioned it to him and he kind of latched onto it.
As soon as Laura mentioned this opportunity, right away, I just felt, yeah, that feels right. I've been very, very challenged over the last year, and I've been watching God provide for us, and been watching how He's just been putting everything together. And He's been working in me. He's been changing my whole thought process. So that's where the whole thing came up. The other one was the stewardship drive. For me, it spoke a lot less to me about money, but a lot more about what am I doing with my life, and is my life really my own? And I just think that God was putting those steps in place so that when this call came up, I was ready to say, yes, we'll go.
I think one of the things that I have identified with a lot in this process is Moses, and just how he was wandering. He was, far from God, and one day he encountered God in the desert, and God said, "Okay, go." And he said, "Well, why don't you send Aaron? He's much better than me." And that's something that I have been thinking, is that of all the people in Canada or North America that could go and teach kindergarten at Dakar Academy, that God would pick me. And I just really feel like He's saying, I want you to trust me. I'm picking you for a reason, not because you're the most qualified or, just because I'm going to do something in you. I'm going to use your weaknesses to show my strength, and I want you to just go.
Over the last probably 6 years, I've had a very vivid image of Peter in my mind. And I've always felt like I was Peter in the boat. And that's what I really wanted to stay, and it's comfortable, it's secure, it's safe. But I haven't been feeling as much confidence in my boat recently. I just haven't been, my security blanket that I've built around me with my work and my job, and I just really haven't had any confidence in it. I've been starting to feel that God is my security. It's with Him that's my security. I've seen Jesus calling me, I've seen Jesus walking on the water, and I can't jump over that rail. And I finally did. And then you start walking on water, and you start walking towards Jesus, following His call. And you start to realize the waves are big, and they're terrifying, and I see why Peter started to sing too.
One of the things that I've noticed about myself is that the person that I was even 3 or 4 months ago isn't who I am today. And God's asking us to shut down our lives and move to Africa, and we only have a limited number of things that we can bring with us, and the person that I was 3 months ago could have never done that. I said to Brad, I was kind of on a mission there for a while, just with restlessness in my soul to I kind of called it my personal Solomon mission. Let's fill the restlessness in my soul with stuff. And I've come to see, it's all meaningless. If I'm not where God wants me to be or doing what He wants me to be, it's completely meaningless. And He's blessed us beyond belief. Like, we have so many material blessings, and yet the real blessing is when you can just let it go because He's asked you to do it, and it's okay.
For me, I've always had the idea that I was in control of our finances and stuff like that. So stepping out And doing something like this, definitely, I mean, that's for me the biggest challenge is stepping out in faith and just trusting that God will provide for us and will send us. So, I mean, there's definitely a financial need, and definitely, I'm learning more and more a prayer need.
There's a lot of things to be afraid of when we go there, and even our kids are bringing up lots of fears. One of the big ones that people bring up is Ebola. I mean, I'm not personally afraid of that, but our kids certainly have been. But along those lines is the health of our kids. That's something that is a really big sticking point for me that I'm still working through with God, is that, okay, I'm going to take my kids there. You need to keep them safe and healthy. So we need a lot of prayer. We need a lot of prayer for even just getting out of Calgary and getting there, all the details from renting the house to selling the rest of our stuff to, all those kinds of things. We also, in this position, receive a small stipend from Dakar Academy, but then are required to raise the rest of our support. And a lot of our support is for health insurance and for some of Brad's health needs. So if you feel that you can support us in this way, then you can certainly get in touch with us and we can help with that.